very much. I actually got a message from someone today who did go to Scotland for beer. But first of all, just a quick question. Who has been to Scotland? Hands up. Amazing, great. So you all, of course, know that we wear kilts every day. We eat haggis every day. We all live in castles. And of course, what do we drink every day? Whiskey, yeah, we all drink whiskey. Of course, what I did was I quit my job and I started a tour business, a beer tour business in Scotland. Yeah, I'll explain a little bit how this happened. So in 2016, I was managing a software company, so we'd scaled up quite rapidly to about 30 people, and the business was acquired by one of the main clients of that company, and I didn't really want to be part of that larger business. I like working with smaller teams. So yeah, I quit my job, and I was sitting in a pub drinking some beer, because I had a lot of time on my hands to do midday drinking. And I thought, this is crazy, like nobody knows about this good beer bar that just opened, nobody knows about it. And so what I did is I went outside on the pavement day after day, and I asked people if they wanted to drink beer with me. So people, like with their suitcase, they're getting lost trying to find their Airbnb, they can't contact them, and I would just grab them, and I'd said, hey, can I help? They're like, yeah, I'm lost, I'm trying to find my Airbnb, and I was like, well, I can't help you, but I've got beer. And that's how it started, and then I thought, okay, maybe I should pre-sell some tickets rather than just standing on the street and asking people if they want to drink beer with me. So I did that, but a lot of the customers couldn't find me because this bar was kind of off the beaten track, which is why nobody knew about it. So I was like, okay, I gotta have a meeting point that's like the place that everybody knows. So I had a meeting point in the old town of Edinburgh on the Royal Mile, just outside St. Giles Cathedral. And I thought, okay, I better have some chat, some stories, right, to tell people as we walk to the bar. It's about a 10-minute walk. So I started to do some research. And I'd lived in Edinburgh for 14 years at this point. I am Scottish, my accent's a bit confusing, but I am Scottish. And I discovered that Edinburgh used to be the most important city in the world for the brewing industry. Scotland used to be the largest exporter of bottled beer in the world. The old town of Edinburgh, those of you who went to Scotland, you wandered around, you looked at all the beautiful buildings. Did any of you notice the old breweries? There were 50 of them. The buildings are still there, and nobody knows about it, nobody's talking about it, millions of people coming to the city, and nothing. For the last 10 years, we've had an average of a new brewery opening every month for 10 years. So we have this incredible beer story, and nobody's talking about it. And so I started to do tours as the history of Scotland through beer. I called it the Scottish Craft Beer Experience. My website was www.scottishcraftbeerexperience.com. Yeah. I tried to print leaflets. It was a problem. I had to do them landscape, not vertical. It was a bit of a problem, but I worked away at it. I thought, oh, it's just some fun. And then my partner and I both got job offers in London, so I gave up. I went to London. I had a great job. I was getting paid by a Swiss company, and they paid for my flat, my apartment, my salary, everything. Occasionally, I would get these booking requests, and I would use them as an excuse to go and visit Edinburgh. So I would get the overnight train up to Edinburgh from London, do the beer tour, get back on the overnight train, go back to work. I did that for a little while. It's fun. Okay, great. I get to meet new people and drink beer with them. And then something strange happened. March, the phone started ringing, the emails started coming in, and I sold more in value of tickets than my salary was, and I wasn't living in the city that my tour company was operating in, and I had a full-time, 5-day-a-week job. So I thought, okay, the world's trying to tell me something. I don't really like London that much anyway, so I quit my job again, and I moved up to, back up to Edinburgh, and I rebranded to Scottish Beer Tours, a little bit shorter. Yeah, things got pretty busy. I took on my first guide. This is Jenny. So I went to a beer tasting to try and scout out new guides. And Jenny drunkenly sat next to me and said, "Can I have a job?" And I said, "Yes." And so she's still with us today. The other thing that we do, which is a little bit different, we tell the story of women in brewing. So women dominated brewing for 8,000 years. In the 1500s, every single brewer in Scotland was a woman. In France, the same thing. So we also tell this story, and having female guides really helps with that, especially in the early days. We do have male guides as well, no discrimination. So yeah, things are growing. I got serious about it. I did a course on storytelling, marketing side of things as well. This was our team retreat just about a month ago. So not all of the team could come. We actually have now a team of 14. We operate in Edinburgh and Glasgow. This year we are 270% up on last year already. And we are 90% direct bookings. We are listed with all the OTAs, but we are 90% direct bookings, and I guess I wanted to share a little bit about that as well. So what I've taken away from, I came into this industry, I don't know anything about tourism, and that meant I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I designed an experience that I thought was fun and interesting. Half of our customers in the winter are local people. So the first takeaway I would say is everyone's talking about authentic experiences or live like a local. That means nothing if you're on a tour with no local people, right? So build a product that local people want to buy. And Douglas asked for us to make some predictions. I think the prediction for the tour and experience space, it's not a travel product. It's just a thing to do. And that can be somebody local or somebody from a different country or a different city. There's no distinction, there's no barrier. The other takeaway I would have is take control of your own marketing. There is so much that you can do for free. You can educate yourself for free. There are online courses from Google, from Linda, from all these types of things. You can teach yourself. There's a couple of people I was speaking to at lunchtime about schema.org, so schema markup. You can get your website up to #1 without spending a penny if you focus on the right things. Google wants you to be #1 if you have a good product, so you can do it on your own. The other thing that I would say is focus on delivering happiness. Your product is happiness. It doesn't matter what you're doing, it's happiness. And how you do that, how you train, make the focus of everything happiness, and that includes the art of storytelling. So I did a course on storytelling and the psychology of storytelling. It's out there. We know what it is. It's predictable. We know how people's brains work. So figure it out, and then what happens is that you get word of mouth marketing. So 1/3 of our bookings, they know somebody who's been on the tour before. And that's all free marketing. And they keep coming back. They then buy Christmas gifts. They come back again when they have people visiting, so you get repeat customers as well for the same experience. And the last one is, I guess, hire quirky people. So in that picture we have somebody who runs a bus company, somebody who's a professional forager. We have all sorts of different people, and they make really interesting guides. It poses some challenge operationally. So that's my last takeaway, is build your business to scale even when you're small. So I know some people in Scotland who started the same time as me, and they're stuck. They can't grow because they're so busy they don't have time to work on their business, only in it. So from the very beginning, I think there's a saying, I don't know if it's the same in the tourism industry, but I came from banking, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Build your operations for the business you want, not for the business you have, because then when it happens, you can deal with it. Couple of books I would say to read. The first one is Oversubscribed, Daniel Priestley. It's about how you can drive demand for your product by being completely transparent about your level of supply and your level of demand. Again, it's free to do. It's just about understanding how people's brains work. The other one is The Story of Zappos. So I think Amazon bought Zappos. Actually, they're a shoe company in the US. There's a book called Delivering Happiness, which is all about customer service and how you train your people to be incredibly disciplined about focusing on that customer experience, and that becomes your product. And I had one more, but I've forgotten it. That's it. If anybody has any questions, or you'd like to stay in touch, or you want to have a beer with me, please connect with me. Thanks.
Sara, thank you. Just one minute. So the Arival team and I, we have decided we'd all like to have a beer with you first. Something I really like about your story when I just think about everything that you've gone through. So first of all, you had a perfectly respectable career in a perfectly unrespecttable profession in banking.
Private equity,
okay,
distressed debt buyouts.
That deserves a different word, but okay. So you're a woman founder.
Yep.
You did it in a marketplace which was dominated by a very different product. So there are a lot of reasons not to do what you've done. I think it's always interesting when I hear entrepreneurial stories, the no's that they encounter along the journey. I was wondering if you would maybe just share, like, how do you distinguish between the no that's good advice, don't do this, and the no that's I'm going to show those guys how wrong they are, and I'm gonna make this thing work.
Yeah. So I do this for customer research as well. So a lot of people will say, listen to your customer, listen to advice. I don't agree with that. Don't listen to your customer. They haven't got a clue. And if they knew what they wanted, they'd already be doing it. They don't need you if they know what they want. So hear your customer and understand your customer, and hear the advice and understand the advice and the logic behind it and the information that's driving it, but then make your own conclusion about what that means. So people said to me, women don't drink beer. You're already narrowing your market. And I'm like, no, that means I have a fantastic opportunity. Women don't drink beer as much, and so they need some help, like getting introduced to it. So actually, I have this huge market. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sara Robertson.